seated.
Well, good evening, and welcome to the 2025 PSSBL Hall of Fame induction ceremony. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Tom Evans Krause, and it's my privilege to be president of this great organization. The PSSBL was founded in 1989. We have one of the founders here in the room with us. I'll introduce him in just a few minutes. The Hall of Fame itself was established in 2011. So this will be the 15th year that outstanding PSSBL ball players will be inducted into the Hall, and we'll meet them in just a few minutes. A little over a week ago, the PSSBL suffered a great loss with the sudden and unexpected passing of Joseph "Joe" Townsend. Joe was a longtime member of the league. He was a general manager. He was a board member for 18 plus seasons, including the most recent 9 as fields and scheduling director. He was a World Series champion, a PSSBL Hall of Famer, and also a member of the National MSBL Hall of Fame. More importantly, he was a man of faith, dignity, and character, and a true servant leader who touched so many lives. So I want us all to take a moment of quiet reflection and remembering our fellow baseballer, teammate, coach, and friend, Joe Townsend. Thank you. We'll be sure to share any information regarding any sort of official memorial when that info becomes available. Now, each year, a select committee of PSSBL veterans works diligently to review every nomination for inclusion in our PSSBL Hall of Fame. Thanks to Chair Paul Davison, also board members Rich Bonney, Josh Jacobson, and Jeff Austin, Jeff Kiger, Jed Morgan, and Rick Park for all their dedication and hard work. And it's my honor to serve with an illustrious group as well. I'd like to recognize past and present board members who are here tonight. Past contributors include the aforementioned founder of the PSSBL, Ben Lowe. Where are you, Ben? There he is. 1989. It was just yesterday, right? Yeah. Oh my goodness. Other past members of the board include, and raise your hand when I call your name if you would please, Scott Dillinger. There he is in the back. All right. Bill Mayowski, Wayne OTTUM, Jason Rivers, and Ron Sherwin. Current 2025 board members include Josh Barker, there's Josh. Also Marty Bigelow, there's Marty over there. Casey Bloom, Paul Davison, Carl GLEASON. Is Josh Jacobson here? There he is, all right. And Scott Spalding, where's Scott? In the back. And Brandon Williams, and Scott McHugh. There we go, all right. There are also a number of PSSBL Hall of Famers present tonight, so we want to recognize them. These players were inducted in previous years. Congratulations again, and sometimes I keep repeating some of the same names. I don't know why that is, but Paul Davison's one, member of the Hall of Fame. Also, congratulations again to Scott Dillinger, Ben Lowe, who was in that very inaugural 2011 Hall of Fame. All right, Bill Mayowski and Jason Rivers. So once again, congratulations to each and every one. All right.
And Tom Proudly.
Maybe. We also want to send out thank yous to the entire Seattle Mariners organization. This is our 4th year consecutively of having this event in this beautiful Ellis Pavilion. So I want to thank Eric Fassler. Eric's over there. He's our contact with the Mariners and his whole crew. They just make us feel so welcome here. And this is such a great venue to do this event. So thank you, Mariners. Also thanks to Jack Ellis. Where's Jack? In the back. He's one of the official photographers for the Seattle Mariners organization. And also thanks to Tracy Neal of Sodexo Catering. We are live streaming tonight. So keep in mind this is a family-friendly event. And so thanks to Michio Koida back there, who's we're streaming live on our YouTube channel. We have a PSSBL YouTube channel. And if you've not subscribed yet, why not get subscribed to our channel, please, all right? Also thanks to Paul Davison, Brian Thorngate, Scott Spalding, and daughter Sadie. Where are you? Oh, in the back, there you go, for helping during the setup tonight before you all arrived. So. Then we also want to say a special thanks to teammates who are here tonight to support these Hall of Fame inductees, and friends, and in particular, family members who supported this new class of 2025 players over the years. Raise your hand if you are a family member supporting our foolishness of getting out on the diamond at age whatever, and playing ball as if we were still 12 years old. All right, so family, give yourselves a hand, please. Appreciate you so much. All right, and now to introduce the first new member of our Hall of Fame class of 2025, I'd like to welcome another Hall of Famer to the podium from the class of 2017. Give it up for Mike Collier. It's Marty, guys. We all have the program. I didn't know there was a program. All right, dear friends, esteemed guests, and fellow baseball enthusiasts. It's with immense pride, joy, and a touch of disbelief that I stand before you to deliver this induction speech. Pretty much everybody's favorite dude in the PSSBL. We gather to honor the journey of a bunch of amazing baseball players, and you'll hear speeches about all these great men, but none of them are Marty Bigelow. However you know him, Biggs, Biggie, Ocho, Tate, you definitely know him if you share the field with him. I'm not saying Marty is better than anyone else, he's just different. He's a truly remarkable individual who has not only left an unforgettable mark on this league and all the teammates he's played with, but also left an unforgettable mark on my couch. For 15 years, we've shared a weird but also really beautiful and inseparable bond. It's one of those friendships that everybody wants in their life.
The show up at your house at 2 a.m. to bury a body kind of friendship. And I know I'm not the only person that feels that way about him. Marty's been in the league for quite a bit longer than we've been playing together. But thanks to the great work of the Make-A-Wish Foundation, he was able to jump on our Cascade roster. And he hasn't... That's a Marty quote. He hasn't gotten sick of us yet and has pretty much taken over the reins of both remaining teams that spawned from the Rockies-Dodgers franchise. I didn't know what we were getting with Marty, honestly. I just saw a little fella with a big heart and a wicked mullet, and I figured he was worth a chance. He played pretty sparingly his first year, flashed the leather at third base, leaned into a bunch of pitches to get on base for us, and really helped us be a better team all around. The next year, he really started showing his value. He'd come to the ballpark early, talk about this new player in the MLB, and he was really inspired by him. Said things like, I think I can be just like him if he gave me a chance. So we did, and he built quite the resume. He really loved Jose Altuve. You can go look at his you can go look at his stats if you want to. I'm not going to read them to you. But I will tell you that the only thing he cares about is his hit by pitch stats, where he currently ranks 3rd in history, and his innings pitched, where he sits at 23rd. But everybody in this room that's played with him knows that arm's not real, so there's a good chance he'll get to the top of that mountain. The impact he's had on the board has also been quite amazing. From the commissioner stuff to the GM stuff and now the player agent stuff, he's always been a voice of reason, which I know sounds weird, but I swear to God, it's true. I asked a bunch of guys for some adjectives to describe Marty, and they were all over the board, seriously, but all very valid. Dedicated, reliable, engaging, team-oriented, charismatic, crafty, generous, compassionate, man of integrity, gators and mustard seed, which are nouns, I understand, but they came from one of our Wazoo grads, so. And finally, authentic. That last one was the one that hit me. He has been and always will be unapologetically authentic. And it's a beautiful thing. There's always teams struggling to find players in our league, but Rivers reminded me that Marty has consistently turned people away from the teams that he manages, just because there wasn't enough room. That's the environment that he creates. The way that he does it is a fun thing to watch too. If you have talent, you're obviously going to play. If you've never pitched before but want to, and you happen to mention it one time, you're probably going to start. You feel nervous and you don't think you can hit some pitcher, he'll just look at you and go, oh, not with that attitude. But you're probably going to lead off. He puts people in positions to be better, which is one of his long-standing quotes. Be better. Do better. Right? Not to make you feel crappy, it's just because he knows you can. He's consistently overlooked by tournament team organizers until the end of tournaments, when they always say, dude, I didn't know you were that guy. Like, I didn't know you had that game in you. I'll do better at getting involved next year. But you'll never hear a peep about it. I have to hear about it all the time because of our relationship, but you never will. As loud and enigmatic as he is, he's the most humble, down-to-earth dude you'll ever meet. And if you're in the inner circle, it's a beautiful place to be. Marty's always going to give you every ounce of himself when he's given the opportunity. I mean, you can say all you want about this dude. But if you were at that All-Star game against the Merchants last year, he shoved against those kids for 3+. And had a couple of those guys looking really stupid, in all honesty. And if he didn't have big-ass sausage fingers and could pick up a ground ball, that game might still be going on. In closing, I just want to share what I think is the greatest sentence I've ever heard read or typed about Marty from a good buddy and longtime teammate, Brian Christensen. It was on the Facebook page, you guys probably already saw it, but this just, when I think of Marty, I think of this sentence. Quote, I saw Marty save a game, fix an old woman's broken down car, take a shot at Jameson, and finish a pint within 30 minutes. Hall of Fame in the PSSBL, Hall of Fame with old women, Hall of Fame at the bars. Just want to express my gratitude for allowing me to be a part of this incredible journey. Your dedication, resilience, and unwavering spirit have been a source of strength and humor to us all. Congratulations on your well-deserved induction into the PSSBL Hall of Fame. Your legacy will live on in the hearts of all that have been touched by your greatness and your hilarious antics. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in celebrating the remarkable achievements and enduring legacy of Marty Bigelow.
I appreciate this nomination. It does mean a lot. I started in 2004 in the Rocky division on the Blue Rocks. I still play and manage that team to this day. I couldn't be more grateful for the wonderful people I've met along the way. Winning is cool, and I have had a lot of success over the years. But I really want to take this opportunity to tell you about a situation I was put in. That situation started when I was asked to be a part of the coaching staff for the 2024 All-Star Game, pre-mentioned by my colleague. I had previously been a part of the staff and had watched many games from the stands. This is an event that I've always looked forward to. I've witnessed several of my teammates show out in the All-Star Game, but 2024 was my year. I started off my duties as a coach by throwing batting practice to the guys. I helped unwrap a few extra boxes of baseballs because the PSSBL wanted fans to have an opportunity to take home a souvenir baseball, just like in the big leagues. That special touch, considering during the regular season, players are foraging through the bushes to find all foul balls, so we have enough baseball to finish the game. This is unprecedented given the cost of these precious pearls. I was able to coach a base or two during the early stages of the game. As the innings wore on, the PSSBL All-Stars tied up the game in the 7th. Casey Bloom, the field manager at the time, came to me and said, if this goes extras, you may have to pitch. I laughed it off. He said promptly, Marty, you may have to pitch. I was not prepared to play, so I jumped out my one wheel and headed for my truck. Don't think I wasn't ready to play, just unprepared. I grabbed all the stuff and whizzed back to the dugout to prepare for my All-Star debut. All tied up in the ninth inning. As the inning concluded, it was my time. I don't think I'd ever been more nervous to throw a baseball. I truly had butterflies. I came in throwing 60 poo, but I was filling the zone. These kids didn't know what to do with it. They were hoping to sit mid-A's on a fastball and put it to the wall, but they didn't have a chance. They did their best to drive it the other way with mild success. Mind you, both teams started with a runner on second base, as per the MLB rules. That was new to us. I think it's coming back this year, though. A little stat I'd like to add, not only did my teammate Joey Clancy lead the All-Star team with 5 hits, while I was pitching, he fielded the ball and threw a laser from center field on a bang-bang play at the plate to keep hope alive. In the 13th inning, with the go-ahead run on third, there was a squib hit in my direction. I ran up there hoping to field this ball and flip it to BP, who was behind the dish, but it had too much English. Unfortunately, I clanked it off the glove, and I watched the game-winning run go across home plate. Oh man, that was bad. Anyways, that was an experience in the PSSBL I'll never forget. The opportunity is one of many reasons why the PSSBL is one of the coolest things since sliced bread. Thank you guys so much.
All right, next up, we'd like to bring Drew Holes up to the podium as the presenter for our next inductee. Drew.
Thank you, Tom. All right, guys. Very honored to be up here today to announce CALE Carter. CALE has been one of the most amazing players that any of us have ever played with. On the Tigers, in the Olympic division, the Royals in the Sierra division, and Aqua Sox, and then now Aqua Sox in the Smoky division. CALE started 4 years in the outfield for Stanford. Was drafted out of high school in the 17th round. Also drafted out of Stanford and made it to Double-A with the California Angels. So quite a resume there, right? So when CALE joined our team in 2005, so 20 years ago, it was pretty amazing, right? The guy with his resume coming to play rec ball was not something you normally see, and it was like, this is the shot in the arm that we all need, right? Especially our team, we've never had a lot of turnover in our teams. We've all become really close friends. So to be able to add in a player of his caliber was just totally amazing for us. And his baseball IQ, but really his attitude too. I mean, his play on the field speaks for itself, and I'll go over that in a minute here. But his attitude, his baseball IQ, his versatility, those are types of things that you don't always get. A lot of us have been playing this league for a long time, and as you get older, you pretty much kind of have a certain position kind of locked down, or you're just trying to hang on to that part. And CALE is that type of guy who you could put anywhere in the field if you needed it, right? Put him at shortstop, catcher, outfield. You probably even pitched for us. If I don't know, but I'm sure there was that as well over the course of 20 years. But when I talk about 20 years, I'm not talking about a full-time player. For the most part, especially once his boys were born, CALE was a part-time player. We might have gotten him 10 to 12 games a year. So if you think about that, he's not out there taking hacks, he's not out there throwing, he's not taking ground balls, but yet he could just show up to a game and affect the game like nobody else on our team, right? He, takes his walks. He could, heck, his batting average was a 394 over the course of 20 seasons. OPS 1,020. His strikeout percentage was only 3.3%. He never struck out, right? It's pretty impressive. He's faced some really top-tier pitching over the course of those years, especially, 20 years ago, we were quite a bit younger and faced some much better pitching. But it's just very impressive of what he was able to do as a player, but again, as a part-time player, right? All of us as full-time players couldn't come close to what he was doing. So very impressive what he could do there. But with all that, he never had the attitude that, like he was better than us or better than anybody else. He just was one of the guys. So it's always very cool to have him out there. Always happy when he could make it, and fortunately he always tended to make it to the playoff games, which was huge for us. But anyway, yeah, I could go on and on. I know we have a little bit of a time crunch, but from our standpoint, from the rest of the Tigers, the Royals, Aqua Sox, CALE's been an integral part of what we've done, and it's been a lot of fun. So congratulations, guys. Yep.
Thank you, Drew. Thank you, the league. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, everybody. Going to be a little bit emotional. But all I can think of is when I stopped playing baseball in 1997, I never thought I would ever play again. I thought I was done, and it was just going to move on. And so when I got relocated up here, I was surprised to find out, I talked to Victor Avina, who worked in my organization, and he said, hey, come out and play. We got a team. And I was like, softball. No, it's baseball. And so I came out, had a couple practices, and obviously it reignited the love of baseball that I have. I would have always loved to make more games, but every game that I was able to make and play with these guys was a joy. I really love this game of baseball. It's taught me a lot. It's given me a lot of opportunities. And I wouldn't trade it for the world. So at the very least, I just want to say thank you to the people that started this. It's very special. It's not everywhere. And so it play as often as you can, play as long as you can, and enjoy it. It's meant the world for me, so thank you for that.
He is gonna come back too, okay? He's got two boys here, and they're in high school, and he coaches one of their, he's the head coach for one of the teams, Cooper's team, and then Dalton's team, he's also a assistant coach, I believe, right? And I know that the boys and Amy would agree that he needs to come back to play with the OTTUM Sox as soon as he's able.
I just need to know when he turns 60. At this time, I'd like to invite Blaze Bresco to the podium, please. We'll introduce our next inductee into the Hall of Fame. Blaze.
Thanks, Tom. It's a real honor for me to, I'm not speaking loud enough. It's an honor for me to be here. I'm totally flattered. I love listening to people speak about how much they love baseball. I love this game, and I absolutely love every single player that I've played with, that I've met through the years. I've only been here for 10 years, and thank you for letting me introduce you. One of the first people I met was Todd Cochrane. I'm just thrilled to introduce him. On that Ranger team 2014, there were that year in the World Series year that we had, the magical year, there were 10 other Hall of Famers, and surrounded by great talent, great people, and that turned out to be great friends. And after 10 years, I'm proud to say that Todd's one of my best friends, and I really owe it a lot to PSSBL and Todd. I'm gonna run through some really quick stats and then talk about a quick story and then finish up with my personal feelings for Todd. Todd's amassed some great statistics over the years. You can look them up, as Mikey said a minute ago. 30 years, this will be his 30th year in PSSBL. I know there's quite a few of them, but as far as I'm concerned, with injuries and the like, particularly for pitchers, the last 30 years to me is absolutely incredible. Every year, and I've been a manager now for 4 years, 5 years, and people just drop off like flies. So 30 years, I tip my hat to all you guys that are been out here this long and still play at such a high level. Lifetime ERA at 3.7, with an exceptional year in 2011 with the Smoky Cardinals of 1.74, gaining him second best in all of PSSBL that year. Over 150 wins, over 2,000 innings, over 750 Ks, 7 divisions, 8 different teams, 2 league championships, and 3 World Series rings, one with me in 2014. Everyone considers Todd to be a great pitcher. One of the biggest stats for me, and particularly now as a coach for the last few years, is the number of games that Todd plays every year, excuse me. He averages over 14 games a year, and that's better than one every other game. And as a coach, as a player, it's wonderful to have somebody ready to go no matter what. He'll pitch both games of a doubleheader if he needs to, and he doesn't need a lot of warm-up time. And I just remember looking to him all the time. are you ready? Let me in, come on, you know. And, you know, that stands out the best. He's not afraid of anything, and he wants the mount. He wants the mount over time. In my 10 years, a quick story, in my 10 years at PSSBL, like I said, I played with 10 Hall of Famers on that Ranger team, 43 overall over these last 10 years. And Todd, you were my best friend. Every year we go to tournaments together. Every year we play together. The biggest highlight, 2014, in the World Series, we were 0-3 in the fourth game, pretty much giving it up. And in the fourth game, our starting pitcher walked off the mound as we were losing 8-0. Todd came in the fourth inning, and he absolutely shut down the team for the remaining 6 innings. We managed 9 runs and won 9-8. He finished the series with 3 wins, 27 innings, and co-MVP. So proud of you that day. I want to just finish by saying I've caught Todd, played with him every year for the last 10 years. I'm really a lucky guy. Not only has Todd befriended me, but he's helped me be a better catcher. And that's not just because 50% of all his pitches are spike balls. He's helped me understand that he wants his... One time. He has helped me understand the 1-2 battery, nuances, and you've helped force me to be a student of the game. You're not only a selfless teammate, Todd, but a motivator, a mentor, and a real brother. He's taken me to the airport at 6 in the morning. He's gone to my kids' sporting events, and he supports me in my ups and downs throughout these years. But I'm not special. He does this with all his friends. PSSBL is not just an opportunity to play competitive ball. It's a chance to make lifelong friends that enrich our lives and help us cherish the things that are important to us. Todd Cochrane is the embodiment of what PSSBL is all about. I present to you Todd Cochrane. Congratulations.
I'm honored to be here. I tried to pull up my speech now. Honored to be here with this class of 2025. I've played with four of these Hall of Fame members: Ron Sherwin, Ron Sherwin, MARTY BIGELOW, and Wayne Ottum. And I think I've only hit Carl and Ron. So I've hit Carl probably several times. But that's throwing 60. Ron took a 80-mile-an-hour fastball to the hand in 2003 and smashed it. And that's the only bones I've ever broken. But it's an honor to be here with them. And I just want to say for the record, 30 years is a long time, but I've never bet on any PSSBL games. And the only steroids I've ever taken were given to me by Doc Teachley and Tony Powers, who are also both Hall of Fame members. You know, I'm trying not to hold things back. It's been a nerve-wracking day. It's been a nerve-wracking week for me, as Tom talked about Joe Townsend earlier. You guys, you got to appreciate being in a dugout, smelling your glove, smelling the leather on the ball, smelling the grass, because you just don't know when that's going to end. And unfortunately, it ended way too soon for Joe Townsend. So just real quickly, I met Joe. He was in the Olympic division. I was in the Cascade division. I was in my mid-30s. He was in his mid-20s. We played an exhibition game here. It was a Safeco field at the time. Same dimensions. And I faced Joe, right? He was 10 years older than me, and he hit the furthest ever off of me. I turned around with whiplash. It was hit the left center, probably 397. And I'm like, God, don't go out, don't leave the yard. You don't want to be the guy that gives up a home run here. Thankfully, the ball bounced on the warning track, went over the wall for a ground rule double. But I'll tell you what, I really wish that ball would have gone out right now. Although Joe did hit a lot of home runs after that. But we got to play together. In 2007, Tom put together a Gators team. We all wore Green River Community College Gator shirts. And that was a wild ride. You know, you've been around this game long enough. I've seen it all. You know, amazing comebacks, extra inning games, some epic ejections. So anyway, hats off to Joe, and just cherish every moment on the field. Cherish your teammates, because this is really special what we all do. You know, again, as I said, playing this game as long as I've had, you've seen some amazing things. But there's some things you see that you'd rather not see, like Seiler and Ivan Mott naked in a hot tub. I've got stories about successes, but I know that we're limited on time, so my whole motivation for, I was playing softball, it was in 1995. I saw an ad in the newspaper about the PSSBL, and you know, I played baseball all my life, like most of you, starting in Little League at age 5. And anyway, you know, I coach kids, and I tell them, you know, their window of opportunity is really small from age 10 to 18. But the PSSBL, the window is always open. It's always open to improve. But my motivation for joining the league is I was 10 or 12 years old. My parents built a pool when I was 6. And so I swam every day. I threw the football in the fall and winter with my dad and my brother. And then the spring and summer, I'd start throwing the baseball. And I developed the ability to throw things really hard and really far. But when I was 10, 12, last time I towed the rubber as a kid, I hit a couple kids, and I was walking the parking lot with my dad. Lost my dad in 1981 to, I was 18 years old, to early onset Alzheimer's. So he never got to see me pitch again, but walking off the field, I beat a couple kids, and a mom from the other team came over to him and confronted him in the car and said, "That kid is going to kill somebody. He should not pitch." And my dad shut me down, and I became an outfielder for the rest of my career until 20 years later I got this opportunity. So I got a couch at Goodwill, I got a bucket of balls. I warmed up for 3 or 4 weeks, trying to hit the middle pillow of the couch from 60 feet away, and then went to the draft. I ended up being the #1 overall pick in 1997 for the Indians, thus donning the Wahoo today, in remembrance of that very first time in 1997 where I towed the rubber. still had no control, right? But again, the window was always open, room for improvement, took some lessons, worked on my mechanics, worked on, you know, I had a fastball, I had a knuckleball, and now I've got 6 pitches. And I teach, coach pitching. So anyway, this one's for you, Dad. I know you're looking down and smiling. I really wish you could be here for this moment. I've had other pitching highlights. I still have goals. I have never thrown a no-hitter. I've thrown 2 one-hitters. One was a semifinal game, World Series in Arizona. The best game I ever threw was probably 2003 at Peter Kirk Park. I retired 26 in a row. And so I'm 1 out away from a perfect game, and I walk the batter. 2 pitches later, Steve Rensom hit it over the wall in left field, and we lost the game 2-1. So baseball is just baseball. You know, you can have your best game and not end up winning, but that's not what it's all about. It's about the friendships and the camaraderie and all the people that I've gotten to know by being in this league, and it's priceless. You can't. I've been in the fraternity, and there's nothing like the PSSBL as far as the brotherhood. So thank you, Tom. Thank you, Jeff Kiger. Thank you, the board. Thank you, everybody that's here tonight. I struck out Jose Canseco. That's a great story, but I don't have time for it. If you want to talk to me about that, I'll gladly tell you a story. But I've met garbage men, lawyers, doctors, architects, engineers, plumbers, landscapers, and they're all part of my life. I tell my wife, I joke with my wife that she's going to meet her next husband at my funeral. So come meet her later if you'd like. In closing, I want to thank all my catchers. And I hope I didn't forget anybody. Tim Dugas, Brian Morrison, Mike Jacobs, Stein Magelson, Ivan Mott, Greg Weary, Brad Hoban, Greg Morrison, Patrick Todd, Mark Mullins, Kurt Schmidtke, Ed Moriarty, Jeff Morgan, Andrew Consuelo, Mooch, who can forget Mooch, Dan Glockner, Brandon Laub, and my favorite of all time, Blaze Resco. Brian, I got a friend here that I've known since I was 6 years old. We played Little League together. Did you ever catch me?
No one could actually catch me. You are the toughest guy on the team. Congrats, man.
Lastly, I'd really like to thank my family for being here. My wife, who gave me a choice. The second year, our son, my first son, my only son, was born. The second year in the league, and she said, look, you got to choose one, golf or baseball, because it can't have you gone for 10 hours every weekend, at least. So I'm glad I chose baseball, because this wouldn't have happened otherwise. Thank you to Alex, my son, who inherited my baseball craziness, my love of the game, and my daughter's a baller as well. Alex and I have had the opportunity to play father-son together in Arizona, which is absolutely priceless. We've done everything there is together. He's caught me, I've caught him in a real game. I've, taken a ball at first base from him at shortstop. We've batted next to each other in the lineup, and it's just been priceless. And thank you to my beautiful and extremely talented daughter for being here as well. You guys have all supported me. So I'm humbled, I'm honored, and I'm very grateful. Thank you. Thank you.
One thing Todd didn't tell you is that that 2007 Puget Sound Gators team wound up winning a World Series championship. He was the starting and winning pitcher in that title game. So I remember it like it was yesterday. So, all right, next up, I will bring to the podium somebody who I did not mention when I was reviewing the list of names of Hall of Famers who have been inducted in previous years. And there's a reason for that, because the next presenter is somebody that is extremely special to this league, that you may not know the background or how integral he is in terms of what we do to make this league what it is today. And that is the guy who has created just an incredible website for the PSSBL. If you kind of tool around to other sports leagues, adult baseball leagues, or even other sports leagues, basketball, hockey, soccer, what have you, around the country, any of those websites pale in comparison to what this gentleman has put together along with his team. Mike Willard is his assistant, and now we have Josh Emery on board as well. But I wanted to point out in particular the accomplishments of this 2019 Hall of Fame inductee as he presents our next member of the class of 2025, Rich Monty.
Thank you so much, Tom. You know, Carl Gleason is in many ways the very face of PSSBL baseball. If you've attended any of our games, there's a good chance one of his 4 teams was out on the field. Or maybe you caught one of the 100 plus taxi pool games he's played in. Carl's everywhere. He's on the field, he's in the stands, or he's lurking behind the backstop with his trusty radar gun. He's been a great ambassador for the game, a great representative, and he's the only player to have played 100 games in a single season. It's remarkable. Carl loves his PSSBL, and tonight we're going to love him back. You know, Lou Gehrig was known as the Iron Horse for playing in over 2,000 consecutive games, a record eventually beaten by Cal Ripken. But both of those guys were wimps compared to Carl. How many triple headers did they play in? I mean, there's a term for when Carl Gleason plays 3 games in one day. It's called every other Saturday. Carl was a versatile athlete in high school, played football, basketball, and baseball. In his 40s, he took his talents to the PSSBL, and he's left quite a mark ever since. For those who don't know me, and now you all do, I run the league website, and a few years back I put in a feature to be able to look up career stats and records. I challenge you to go in there and find any category where Carl is an at or near the top of the leaderboards. Specifically, he is the leader with over 3,000 plate appearances, 914 runs scored, and 674 RBIs. He's a career 400 hitter with more records than I can name in this time, but he probably holds the record for the most records ever put on a Hall of Fame plaque, so go check for yourself. There is one record I can't help but mention. Carl's attracted to baseball, and baseball's certainly attracted to Carl. He's been hit an unbelievable, stunning 378 times by a pitch. He's the pitcher's pinata. We thought about swapping out the 5 on his back with a giant bullseye. When you consider that the major league record for career hit by pitch is almost 100 less than Carl's, it's quite possible that he holds the worldwide record for being hit by pitch. But you know, Carl's not just a record holder; he's a real contributor. He's been a difference maker on so many of the games he's played in and the championship teams he's played on. But more than that, he's a team builder. He's been a great help to me as we continue through the years with the Generals. Mills, keeping our roster intact. I know Scott McHugh would say the same for the River Cats. He did a lot for the Rainier Pilots a few years ago to strengthen them. And as the commissioner of the Adirondack Division, he has worked tirelessly with all the teams to help them with their roster building needs. And he's built into it a really terrific, fair, fun division. In my opinion, the hardest working commissioner in the league. And that's not to mention, he's been instrumental in the past couple of years putting together the day league that just started last year. So for the many accomplishments and contributions, I'm proud and happy to be able to present to you our newest inductee, my friend Carl Lewis.
Good evening, everyone. Trying to get this back on pace here. Thank you, Rich Bonney, my teammate from the very beginning, for that kind introduction. It truly means a lot to me. To my incredible wife, Jill, thank you for your unwavering support of my baseball passion, a passion I've pursued since 2007. You've sacrificed so much to allow me to play, and I'm eternally grateful for your love and encouragement. It's a tremendous honor to be inducted into the Hall of Fame tonight. My sincere thanks to those who nominated me and to the Hall of Fame committee for this incredible recognition. This is undoubtedly a highlight of my PSSBL career. And while it feels like a pinnacle, I still hope to achieve even more on the field before I hang up my cleats. I've genuinely loved every minute of playing, and it has been a pleasure to serve on the board of directors as Adirondack Commissioner. I'm particularly proud of my role in launching midweek daytime baseball initiative. It was a success in 2024, and it continues this year and hopefully for many years to come. It's something I'm very passionate about. The PSSBL has given me so much, especially the gift of lasting friendships. I'm truly grateful for all of my teammates, from the River Cats, the Generals, the Rangers, the Ravens, and the Pilots, as well as the connections I've made through this league. This is an honor tonight, and it would not be possible without all of you. Finally, I want to express my deepest gratitude to our president, Tom Krause. Tom, your vision and leadership are invaluable. I honestly do not know where we'd be without you. I am certain that our current success and level of enjoyment we all experience wouldn't be possible without your dedication. Thank you, Tom. I guess Alan Gibson's not here tonight, but I was expecting a baseball to be thrown at me for the 379th time. But I think my teammate Greg Bradford must have chickened out.
I don't have a baseball.
So it'll have to wait till my next game.
All right, next up, I want to bring to the podium a vice president of the league. He's a former Olympic Division commissioner, served on the board, I think, 6 or 7 years total, and is also in the Hall of Fame. Paul Davidson, come on down.
Thank you, Tom. Thanks for everyone coming out to support these guys tonight, by the way. It's a special night for a lot of guys, so appreciate it. my honor and privilege to induct Scott HOLSTAD tonight to the PSSBL Hall of Fame. The first time we crossed paths was in 2005, which is hard to believe. My team was in its infancy in the whole Olympic division, and I think a lot of guys here played in that division. Remember how good it was. It was so many good teams and competitors, but there was always one team that kind of stood out above the rest, and that was the Tacoma Tugs. Ray Balo put together some amazing baseball teams. They were loaded every year. You had to show up, bring your A game, or you would get smoked. And 2005, we played them, and they rolled out this guy at first base, and we're like, good grief, what else is coming? Scott was smooth at first, but he would stand so calmly and intimidating on the left side, big tall guy, and I swear, every time he would decide to swing, there was not foul balls, there was not swing and miss, it was just missiles hit every which direction. And you would just pray that, he hit a line drive at somebody. And that was really the whole approach for trying to get him out, or walk him, one of the two. So facing him as, the opposition was a nightmare. In 2009, he took the year off after playing for the Tugs from 05 to 08. By the way, he hit in the free hole for them, led them to 3 championships in that time. In 09, he took the year off, which was, I still thank you for that, by the way, because that was the year we had to play the Tugs in the championship, so I appreciate not having to pitch to you that day. But then after that season, Tugs called it a day, and they kind of said we had a good run, they disbanded, and we sat around thinking, boy, remember that HOLSTAD guy? We should probably call him, because I don't ever want to pitch to him again. And so we did, and ended up playing 9 years together. And so I got to know him really well as a teammate, see how much he loved the game, just really enjoyed being around the guys. And for us, he played a lot of right field, not as much first. He had I would say almost uncanny or maybe even unnatural ability to throw people out on the base paths. It seemed like every guy who tried to take an extra base would get hosed. He always had, even though he told me every year was like, oh, I think I have like 5, 6 throws this year. That's all he needed because a couple nobody tried him after that. So he was a great right fielder, and for his calm, quiet demeanor, there's a fierce competitor in there, and it just the type of guy you want to have in your dugout. It was fantastic, and I really am thankful I got to play with him for 9 years. And Scott hit in the middle of our lineup and led us to 5 championships over that time, and went to a couple more. And then in 07, back with the Tugs, I forgot this part, he went down to Phoenix with them. They played in the 18-up national division down there, which is the hardest division there is. And they won a ring, and I think he beat Jose Canseco's team in the championship, if I'm not mistaken, so that's kind of cool. But yeah, I mean, just a great guy. I think his 13-year career in total, 8 championships, OPS of around 1, a ridiculous slash line, and a great teammate, and continues to be a great husband and father. I thank you for coming out tonight. It was good to see you guys. And yeah, I just appreciate you so much. Congrats, man.
Thank you, Paul, first of all. As Paul knows, and probably a lot of the teammates and players I've played with in the past know, I'm not a man of many words, so I'll keep this short and sweet. I really enjoyed my time in the league. I came right out of college. I had played in quite a few different summer leagues, and I had a couple buddies that played on the Tugs team at the time, and they said, hey, you should really come try out this league. As soon as I got into the league, the fields were a huge upgrade that we were playing on. Like, the quality of play was just way up there. Everything about it I loved and really enjoyed, and I had some success in the league, but I played on some amazing teams that had pitching, hitting, defense. They had everything that you could want, and so truly thankful to all the teammates that I had during my time in the league. And thank you to everyone that came out today. Thank you, Tom, for putting this all on. I'm sure there's a lot of work and stuff that goes in behind the scenes for this. And thank you to the class that I'm joining with. All great people. They've all been very welcoming and appreciative, and really appreciative of that as well. So thank you, everyone, and that's all I got. Thank you.
according to the agenda, I'm supposed to call myself to the platform at this time, so please welcome Tom Evans-Krause as the next presenter. Well, I am just totally honored to be able to introduce our next inductee into the 2025 PSSBL Hall of Fame. Wayne OTTUM, catcher extraordinaire, also will play some infield, particularly second or third base. Has also served 7 years on the board of directors at various times. He was the Sierra Division Commissioner for 3 seasons from 2010 to 2012, and then served as Vice President of the league for 4 seasons from 2013 to 2016. In his 20-plus years in the PSSBL, played in 4 different divisions with the Sierra Islanders. I think that's the team that he played with the longest, 10-plus, wasn't it? Yeah, what year? 2004. Yeah, 2004, my goodness. Until 2014, so 11 seasons with the Islanders. Also played with the Smoky Cyclones, who then changed names to the Twins. The Everest Mariners, the Everest Division Pirates, who then later became the Steelheads. I don't know if Brian Thorngate is still here, but there he is. He's rocking a Steelheads jersey. And if you don't know much about the history of the Steelheads, ask or Google it. All right. And also the Rainier Division Mariners. Adjectives for Wayne OTTUM that I kind of asked around. Intense, competitive, driven, talented, smart, dedicated, loyal, and a true friend. Did I mention intense on the field? And competitive as well. Anyway, so many, many seasons, 20 plus. It's been my privilege to be a teammate of Wayne's for 11 of those seasons. We spent about 5 seasons together on the Cyclones, later known as the Twins, and also on the 2015 Everest Division Mariners. Now, in 2016, that's when his vice presidency came to an end. And I'll never forget the phone call where I was at the time still commuting from Linwood to my teaching role at Green River. And yeah, I was just on 405, just south of Bellevue, when I'm on the phone with Wayne when he announces that he's retiring from baseball altogether because he was going to have a knee operation. And Wayne, did I mention intense? Okay. It has such high standards for himself that he felt that he could not compete at a level to which he wanted to achieve. And so he was going to retire from baseball altogether and give up the vice presidency and move on with his life. And so we talked about that at length. I thanked him profusely for all of his contributions and for being a great teammate all those years and wished him well with the surgery. So fast forward to 2018, when PSSBL decided to establish a brand new division. 2018, we established the age 60 and over advanced Rainier Division, reclaiming that name from years gone by where there had been a Rainier Division back when. And many of those players had now, as I like to say, graduated, age-wise, to that level, 60 and over. So I was putting together a Mariners team to compete in that 60 and over Rainier Division. And I had a whole list of people to call that were going to be age eligible. And I did. I went, oh gee, I suppose I should put Wayne on the list, but you know, it'll never happen. Especially after the conversation we had 2 years prior. So I'm getting ready to call. And who should call me? You remember this?
Yes, I was just ready to call you.
Yes, I was just ready to call you, I said.
Yes.
And he goes, you know, I'm thinking about coming back. Okay, I need a catcher. Can you?
Like that.
Just like that. And so lo and behold, he came back, and the rest is just an incredible story. We wound up winning the division a couple years running, and then out of so-called retirement, he wound up joining up with our World Series team. And not only were we successful as the Rainier Division Mariners, but then we went to Phoenix, played in the MSBL World Series, and wound up winning consecutively in 2021 and 2022 as well. So a couple of World Series championship reigns. Ultimately, he continued playing the World Series for the Mariners in 2023 and 2024, as well as heading to Florida a couple of times with the legendary Washington Titans, and played in 2022 and also 2024, this last fall. Of those years and those teams, we competed in 5 championship title games. And so much of that is due to Wayne's contributions behind the plate, up at bat, on the bench, and we wound up winning, as I mentioned earlier, a couple of rings. And I could go into the stats. You can read the stats online. They are magnificent. The other thing that I'll share with you, though, is the 2021 Puget Sound Mariners winning the World Series championship. Wayne only hit .684 for the week. So I don't know what you were thinking, missing those several opportunities and not going for 1,000.
It was that 6 for 6.
Yeah, anyway, just absolutely incredible. And he's a leader in many of the categories. You can check it out on our PSSBL website. Oh, by the way, you did, over time, play eventually all nine positions, which is pretty incredible. Did I mention he's intense? Competitive? Okay, just double check. And then finally, and this is one trait that I will share with you about Wayne. We have finally cured him of swinging at first pitches. Rick Park should be here.
Yes, there you
We finally cured him of swinging at first pitches because he retired from baseball earlier this year. And the last thing I'll share is that he has always, wanted to be number 15 on his jersey. There have been times when there was a teammate who is also in the Hall of Fame, who also is number 15. And now that, Wayne, that you're retiring, guess who grabbed your number 15 the moment that he knew you were going to hang up the cleats?
I already told you.
They already told you. That's Scott Dillinger, number 15. So anyway, so I present to you our next Hall of Famer, number 15, in your hearts. And on the back of the jersey, Wayne out.
Thank you, Tom, for that kind and incredibly honest introduction. And I want to thank you also for being a Great League president, manager, player, teammate, fellow board member. It's a true privilege to call you friend. Thank you to the Hall of Fame Committee. I am truly honored to have been selected for this illustrious class of 2025. And to my fellow 2025 classmates, a hearty and very heartfelt congratulations. Knowing and playing against many of you only makes this achievement that more special, that more meaningful. I also want to say thank you to all of the players that are here or not, that I've played with and against. An honor such as this can only be achieved with outstanding teammates,
and exceptional competition. Finally, a special thank you to my wife, Deborah. Baseball widow she. You know you have a keeper when she writes into her vows for our wedding about my love of baseball. So, thanks, honey, for always being my biggest fan. Thank you.
All right, and finally, we want to bring to the podium for our seventh introduction, Richard Cordova. Richard, come on down.
All right, well, one, I want to thank everybody for being here and thank Ron for the honor and privilege of getting to introduce him. I, was somewhat stunned when I was asked to do this, and I really wanted to thank him for that because it's been so much fun playing with him on the Rainier Pilots. So I just want you to all know I'm wearing this jersey, the Rainier Pilots. This is the team we went on 1-19. You really get to know a guy when you play through adversity. and so it's just one of those things where we had a struggle, and I think the quote that Greg Morrison wanted me to say was the god-awful pilots, and it was a special team because a few of us on that team that just got to know each other, and we really had fun being frustrated all the time. And one of the other stories from that Greg wanted me to remind you of, Ron, was that we had the honor that year of playing at the Husky Stadium, and he gave up 10 runs in 2 innings, and his ERA went down. It's because there were no earned runs that day. And as you can imagine, they use the term intense for Wayne, and Ron is known as being a relatively intense player. And in fact, I look back at my time playing against Ron and playing with Ron, and I can remember the first year we played against you, and we're sitting on the bench, and he got struck out. I think a bat was broken, and we were thinking, what a hothead, come on. And yet, when you got to know him and you got to play with him, you realized he was just passionate about baseball. And he wanted to perform, and he wanted to do all these, outplay every other player on the field. And, so if we're on a 1-19 team, he's saying, give me the ball. Let me just throw the ball. Well, I'll pitch. So just a few highlights for Ron, just to make sure he played baseball at the University of Arkansas, right? I know he's told me about his tryout with the Cincinnati Reds. I think it must have been a minor league team, or something like that. And he's had 20 plus years in the PSSBL, a switch hitter. I think it says on his plaque that he has the most hits, most runs, most RBIs by a switch hitter. So I acknowledge him for that because hitting from one side of the plate is tough enough. He played for the Cascade A's, was his first team, and then went on to the Cascade Nationals, Smoky Cardinals. He's played with us in the Sierra Rainiers. That was where I met him, and at the first time we played against each other. And then in 2016, he joined our team, the Stingrays, and that was kind of fun. We got to meet him, got to understand who he was. But it was that 2019 season, and it's a special season for me because I also got to pitch that year. And then, COVID hit us. We were playing on the Everett Pilots at the same time, and we won the championship on the Everett team, and the other team was 1-19. And we won 2 games that year. We actually won a playoff game, which was one of the funny things about that. Remember that? We found a way to win that playoff game. Yeah. But he was so committed to that team, he said, I am not going to let this happen again. And we're thinking, what is he talking about? COVID hits, and we were all quiet for a couple of years, for a year. And then he comes back with Greg Morrison, and they say, we're going to put together a team, Richard, that makes a difference. We're going to find a way. And 4 in a row now? We've had 4 straight championships now in the Rainier division for us, over 60 guys. And it's been really a crazy, crazy time, and we've had a lot of fun. But he helped build that team, and that was such a contribution for me, because I'd never won a championship, and now I'm getting to play with him and win championships. I wanted to remind everyone that he's won 3 MSBL World Championships as well. And this last one we just won this past year was a lot of fun down in Phoenix. So I want to make sure that everybody also knows that he's a high school baseball coach. He gives back, all season long. Yeah, I don't know how many seasons you've been coaching, but it's been a number of seasons. And then he also gives his time at, baseball academies. He really is a grinder in terms of baseball. And get out there, play, and have some fun. So I just wanted to say thank you for the honor and privilege here, Ron. And then Greg Morrison said he wanted me to just remind you that, he has appreciated the opportunity to be coaching with you in these last few years as well. And he would have liked to have been here, but he's in Cabo, where he should be, having some fun. But with that, I want to make sure that everybody, gives a hand. I know we're the last guys. Ron,
These are readers, by the way. Anybody that knows me knows I'm not cool enough to pull off the lip. They're little letters in the bottom. By the way, Todd left out some postal details in that particular incident that you mentioned. I'm not going to go into it in depth, other than to say there was a disagreement of some opinions that disagreed. And he and I both got the rest of the afternoon off. And that was by, not by our choice. More than 5 decades ago, Jim Bouton told us, you spend your whole life gripping a ball, and in the end you realize it was the other way around. Although as a young boy I surely did not understand this, I quickly realized there was something to this game. Etched in my memory is the first time I realized this while sitting with my father and uncle watching Game 4 of the 1967 World Series between the Cardinals and the Red Sox from Busch Stadium, St. Louis. It didn't matter that the TV was black and white because I could see the color of baseball, and grown men were playing this game. I was hooked. It looked like life to me. Now, all these years later, baseball still holds its grip on those of us who manipulate life in our orbits each summer so that we can live vicariously in our youth once again. In the spirit of what Tom touched on earlier, I and my colleagues here are indeed honored by our induction, but would be remiss if we failed to acknowledge the real Hall of Famers here tonight. It is all of you out there who have acknowledged and supported our need to behave each summer like characters from the movie Sandlot. You are the spouses, sons, daughters, and friends who have come to recognize what Mr. Bowden was telling us all those years ago is the baseball that grips us. Thank you for your understanding, or perhaps tolerance, of our terminal adolescence. And I owe a special thanks to my girl of 21 years, who knew little about baseball but soon learned it was a part of me. She embraced it with our boys and never-ending summers at ball fields up and down the West Coast. She is the real Hall of Fame in our family. I want to also thank my pilot brothers, Greg Morrison and Jeff Wilson, for their advocacy on my behalf. And thanks to all of our PSSBL leadership, past and present. You have built the best sandlot in the country. Your commitment to the prophecy of Jim Bowden has allowed all of us to live each summer like those boys at the Sandlot. Thanks to all of you for allowing us a baseball life, and personally for this most humbling honor. Thank you.
First pitch is just a few moments away. So I just want to wrap up by saying, once again, thank you to the Hall of Fame committee. Thank you to the board of directors, members, both past and present. Thank you to our Mariners partners, the Seattle Mariners, that offer up this fabulous venue for this particular event. And we look forward to enjoying this game coming up against the Blue Jays here from Edgar's Home Run Porch or wherever your seats may be throughout the T-Mobile Park Stadium. And also just want to say once again a huge thanks, as Ron had mentioned moments ago, to family members, teammates, friends that let us do what we love to do every summer, getting on that ball field. So enjoy every inning, every moment, every at-bat, every time out on defense, those of you who are players. And again, look forward to a wonderful 2025 baseball season. Thank you once again for everything that you bring to our league, all of you, each and every one, in your own way. Much appreciated. And I'll just end by saying, besides a big thank you to everybody, go Mariners! So Hall of Fame inductees, class of 2020.